Okay, welcome to Worldwide Wiggy. I'm Doreen.
I'm James.
And we're here to talk about San Antonio today. I just got back from a conference that I was there for 4 or 5 days. What a town. And I am really excited to share what I learned while I was down there.
Yeah, Doreen was down there for business, but she did have some time for a little bit of sightseeing. And it sounds like San Antonio is a great city for you to visit.
Yes, absolutely. It was a phenomenal time. I did not take James with me. I was there by myself, but I still had a great time.
And she's promised to take me back after what I've heard.
Yep.
It sounds like a great trip.
Yep, it was a great trip.
San Antonio is an older city in Texas, going back to before Texas was a state. And of course is famous for being the home of the Alamo.
Of the Alamo.
And it was named after St. Anthony of Padua, one of our favorite saints. So definitely it should be
one of our absolutely favorite
saints to visit.
Yeah.
So we're always saying St. Anthony, we've lost something.
Yeah. We always say that he's probably the busiest because people pray to him all the time for lost things.
So I got to ask Doreen, what was the, as far as getting to and from the airport to your hotel? Pretty easy?
So I rented a car. So I booked my vacation package through American Airlines because we are frequent flyers. And it included a car. I will tell you that I got the car and it didn't leave the hotel the whole time I was there because everything that I had was right there by the hotel because I booked by the Riverwalk. And I didn't need the car. So if you are planning on staying at the Riverwalk, truth is you can get around to and from the hotel with either an Uber or a taxi or and save yourself some money because I booked all of those days and had all that with the car and it wasn't necessary because everything I did was in walking distance.
Taxi from the airport is about $30 to $40 down to the Riverwalk.
And that's what an Uber was. Because I had a friend of mine that did it too.
And then they also have the hop on, hop off tourist buses.
They do. I did not do that while I was there, but that is totally available for you to get around all the stops. And you can usually buy a couple day pass or a day pass and you can get on and off throughout the day.
And the hotel where Doreen was staying looked like most of the major attractions in San Antonio, including the Alamo, including the cathedral, all within walking distance. Even the big tower in San Antonio is less than a mile away.
Yep, totally within walking distance. So I stayed at the Hotel Contessa, which is on the other side of the there's the restaurant way. So I was on the one side that was kind of closer to the levee. And it's really close. It's literally right by Wedding Island, which is right off the Riverwalk. Hotel Contessa is right there. Hotel Contessa is right there. The Ambler, their restaurant, literally looks at the Wedding Island, and that's where I stayed.
And what did you like most about your hotel?
The rooms were huge. I booked a king suite. It was really big. I had a great view of the Riverwalk. I had a living area with an L-shaped couch and plenty of room to get plenty of office space, plugs. There could have been a couple people that stayed there. It was huge. Very, very nice room. Very clean, big bathroom. It was really nice.
Everything's bigger in Texas, including the hotel rooms.
The room is huge. And we're going to post a short because I actually stayed in 2 different rooms. Because my flight was delayed and I had to book another night there, and I actually got into another room which was the same size, but I took video of both, so I will absolutely be doing a short for you guys to see what the room size was.
Great. So what was the biggest attraction that you saw? It would have to be the Riverwalk.
Would be the Riverwalk. Yeah, the Riverwalk was really nice. James and I have been to Venice. That's kind of what it reminded me of. The river is not very wide. It's only like 3 feet deep. And everything is around the Riverwalk and it's like lower than the street level. So it's kind of like its own little city underneath the city. It's weird. I was saying that, whenever you go to any of these like warmer destinations, you get people that you get homeless people because in those, when it gets warm down there, you don't have to worry about the snow. So of course you have homeless people and stuff. There wasn't a lot of that, but that was like on the city level. I didn't see any of that down in the Riverwalk at all. It was like the Riverwalk is its own little area.
You took a boat ride on the river both during the day and the night.
Yes.
Which would you prefer?
They both were cool. The nighttime one is obviously cool because they have all the lights on the trees, but there are way more people at night. So the Riverwalk is all lit up. You've got all these wonderful, trees, and the lights look really beautiful. But that's when the most people are waiting in line. So I did it during the day when the line was lower, and I enjoyed myself on that tour, and then went back at nighttime with a friend, and it was just as great. But when we got off that boat at 7:30, it was packed. The line was all the way down.
And then
and reasonably priced too. I'm going to say for a general admission adult ticket, it was $15.50 for a boat ride.
Oh, that's
I didn't
not
feel
bad
that was
at
bad.
all.
Yeah.
It's much cheaper than a gondola ride in Venice.
It is. 90 euro for a gondola ride in Venice. Right.
So the Alamo nearby.
Yeah, the Alamo from my hotel was 5 minutes, 5 or 10 minutes. I walked the Riverwalk, so Hotel Contessa's on the other side of the Riverwalk, so you had to walk over one bridge, and then you walked up by this red, I think it's an internal flame memorial or something, and you just walk down Alamo Street a couple more blocks, and it was right there.
And they've cleared out, you said, the area around the Alamo?
Yeah, so my understanding is that they got rid of another street, and they're trying to make it more authentic to the actual boundaries of what the Alamo were during the war. So it's all pedestrian up there now.
It's quite neat. And of course, It's free admission at the Alamo.
Free admission, and it closes at 5:30. And it is a war memorial, so it bakes in the sun all day. So I learned that whenever they build another skyscraper, that there's a ton of engineering that goes in to make sure that there is no shadow that is cast on the Alamo at all from any angle. So that if anybody proposes a new building or structure, they got to make sure that with the sun coming down, that it does not show a shadow on the Alamo at all.
The flip side of that would mean that if you're there during warmer weather, that's something you want to do either right before closing or right early in the morning to avoid the hottest part of the day.
Right. And it's not like you're in at 5:30 and you get to look around. They're kicking you out at 5:30 because those guys shut it down at 5:30.
So best bet, warm days, go first thing in the morning.
Right.
That way you're not out in the sun.
And there's outskirt things to look at too, not just the Alamo itself. They've got other areas on that whole footprint to look at.
And also nearby is the cathedral.
So on the other side of the Riverwalk is the Cathedral of the San Fernando Cathedral, which holds the ashes of
Davy
Crockett and
a number of other people from the Alamo. Yes. And or at least it's alleged to be the final resting place. They're not.
I mean, they're in a casket and everything.
Yeah.
So
it's they're not 100% sure that Davy Crockett is there, but they believe that he is. And all the other members that were killed at the Alamo are also buried at that cathedral. But you experienced something rather unique about that cathedral.
Right. So I'll just say that the very first day we were there, we were invited to a party at One Watson, which is one of the top 5 rooftop bars in San Antonio. And I happened to just be looking at the cathedral, which is down right by One Watson. And I was looking down on the cathedral and I noticed the projection light show. And I was like, what's that? So I watched a little bit of it from One Watson because you have a great view. And did some research and found out that they do this every single day at 9 o'clock to 9:30. And they project this beautiful art show, light show on the cathedral. And the square in front of the cathedral is literally covered with people. So on the last day, when my flight was delayed, I decided to go up there and actually watch it because I had time since I wasn't in any of my conferences. My conference was over. So I went up there from 9 to 9:30 to watch it, and it was wonderful. It was just this wonderful projection, and it looks fantastic on the facade of the cathedral.
So I guess my question would be, now that you visited San Antonio, would it be a kid-friendly city, a city that you could take your family to, or is this
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. It's not at all like New Orleans where you have any of that
It's not
you
Bourbon
know,
Street, New
no,
Orleans,
no, it's
or,
not. No,
or
it's very family friendly. The kids seem to love the boat rides. There were a lot of families down there. The Riverwalk is really fun to walk. I walked it every single day. There's always something to see. It goes around a full horseshoe. There's Restaurant Way. The boat ride takes you down to some of the other hotels, telling you a little bit more history of San Antonio. So, I mean, there's a lot to see on the Riverwalk. You know, and it's just, there's tons of restaurants. There's all kinds of shopping. So it's definitely family friendly.
And there's a rumor, now it's only a rumor, that they do serve Mexican food in San Antonio.
It is not a rumor. You can find Mexican food at pretty much any restaurant there. And you can usually find most places selling brisket.
So what I found was interesting in doing a little research, it's actually a UNESCO culinary food site. So one of the top 5 in the United States. So that's putting it up in the ranks up there with New Orleans as a place to go to eat.
Yeah, there were restaurants everywhere. So it was just, you know, you won't go hungry down there for sure, because there's always a place to stop and eat.
And the food was delicious.
Every single place. Yeah. I didn't have a bad meal at all. It was just when I was down there.
Any suggestions as far as, you know, distance from the Riverwalk, or just go ahead and eat right along the Riverwalk?
I say eat along the Riverwalk. There wasn't a single place that didn't have people there. I think what's an iconic stop is Casa Rio, which is the colored umbrellas that you see in a lot of pictures of the Riverwalk when you're looking online. So you'll see the restaurant with the beautiful colored umbrellas. That's Casa Rio. That's a very well-known restaurant. It's iconic because of those umbrellas have been there forever. The Esquire Tavern is also one of the oldest taverns in town, because it was like there was a line out the door during Prohibition. So I guess as soon as they brought back the alcohol, there was a line. It used to be a barbershop or something, and they had a line out the door, the Esquire Tavern. So that faces the river. Really, really fun place. I walked by it, didn't go in, but lots of people in and out there. There are several wonderful hotels that are on the Riverwalk. The one that I'm eager to try is the Mansion on the Rio, which is this beautiful hotel that used to be like an old school. And it has all these beautiful windows and balconies that face the Riverwalk. You could sit out there for hours and just watch people, because it's just amazing.
In the restaurant that you went to, the Rooftop restaurant,
One Watson
also has a long history in San Antonio. Definitely worth a stop. Highly rated.
I have a short that we're going to be posting of that too, because the party on the rooftop was fantastic. Just really fantastic.
Okay, so now we have a couple minutes. We've talked about San Antonio. We got to talk about a little bit of news. Barcelona.
Yeah, Barcelona.
Can't escape it.
You can't. They're going to be paying. You are going to be paying more to visit Barcelona.
Barcelona is doubling the per tourist per head fee to stay overnight in Barcelona. In addition, they suffered a little bit of a hit to their tourism last year. 100,000 people less. That's right, 100,000 people less.
But I think it has to do with the fact that they're charging that tax. I do.
I also think it has to do with the fact that they had protesters last year out there with squirt guns and yelling, "Tourists, go home."
Yeah.
Hard to feel welcome in a city that they've got that.
I'm going to say, I mean, I get it, okay? But that's what your tourism dollar is paying for. I guess I don't understand that.
And 15% of the city's budget or the economy depends on tourism. So it'd be a significant hit if the tourists suddenly stopped going to Barcelona.
Yeah, I don't even get that.
But guess what? They're expecting more protests this July. If you're showing up to Barcelona on a cruise ship, you might be greeted by a bunch of people with squirt guns telling you to go home.
Wah, wah, wah.
And then finally, one more section that we're going to do on every podcast now. Tourists behaving badly. Yep.
Yeah, that's what you get to look forward to on our podcast. Tourists behaving badly. This is a great one.
This time it was a German tourist, not an American tourist. So we can blame the Germans. One of them decided to climb Chichen Itza. Went right past the fences, right past the National Guard and the security at this UNESCO World Heritage Site.
And you're not supposed to climb up there.
And decided to climb up there. And of course, they had to have a security guard chase after him. And let's just say that the locals did not appreciate it.
Nope. When he got down, apparently he was bombarded by them when he came down off the pyramid. They were like beating him up and stuff.
He had a bloody forehead when they were taking him away because of the mom that attacked him for daring to climb the pyramid.
Funny.
So here's just a piece of advice. Don't be that tourist.
Don't be that tourist.
Listen to the guards when they tell you not to sit on the rocks or not to climb up on something. When we were at the Acropolis, the guards were everywhere telling you where you could walk, where you couldn't walk. Don't go past this rope. And we listened. We obeyed as best as we could.
And they have guards up there, too, that are yelling at you, blowing whistles and everything.
So if wherever you are, if they're telling you that they're trying...
Don't get yourself kicked out. It's not worth it. You're in a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Why would you ruin it?
That's just it. I mean, why would you ruin that once-in-a-lifetime opportunity and possibly risk becoming world famous the ugly way? And on top of it...
And believe me, this is all over the papers that he climbed up to Chichen Itza. So I wouldn't want to become famous like that.
Yeah, when he gets back to Germany, he's not going to be appreciated either. So just a little bit of advice. Be a good tourist, not a bad one.
Right. So if you like what you're hearing and you want to stick around, you're going to want to follow us, subscribe to our channel, because we're going to be doing regular podcasts featuring different travel advice. You may not know, but I just became a certified travel advisor. So we'll be adding many, many things regarding that I'm learning about. So make sure you subscribe and check out our other content. And we also have a Substack newsletter.
Yes. So this will
you
be
can
on
subscribe
there as
too.
well.
So you can just subscribe there, and we're going to start sending that out too. So you're going to want to get on our newsletter list so that you can stay up to date with all of our travel advice.